Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wa bihi nasta'in ala umuri waddin. Salatu wassalamu ala sayyidil mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in, amma ba'du. Alhamdulillah, in this great morning we can meet together to examine on the draft qualification and dissertation proposal written by Muhammad Taqiyuddin on the chapter Theology of Message in Communication Science, Theosomatic Approach. Alhamdulillah, in this great morning, with us our professor, Ustaz Al-Had Amal Fathullah Zarkasyi as the first examiner, and Ustaz Doktor Kholid Muslih the second examiner, and Ustaz Doktor Hadi Ihsan the third examiner in this examination. We open our discussion, our explanation in this morning by reciting Al-Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, to inform with us that this is researcher Muhammad Taqiyuddin is the first examiner in the semester of three semester. May Allah given us the blessing. So after this examination, his friend follow his wise, and after that, and his friend also Haris. Before we go into deep discussion and deep explanation, we give the researcher to explain, to explore the short description about this dissertation, not more than 15 minutes. Okay, please the time for you.
Thanks for this morning. Thanks for our professor, our teacher, to advise us, to evaluate us what I had writing down here. But maybe I would present simplificate in not less at 15 minutes. The first that my title is Theology of Message in Communication Science. With
I should like to ask Mr. Nur Hadi. Mr. Nur Hadi Ihsan?
Yes, okay.
Can you listen the researcher voice?
Yes, inshallah. Clear.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Thanks, Nur Hadi. I will here propose my writing in after this will become a dissertation. What is contained in my proposal is introduction, problem formulation, purpose, and literature review, methodology. And the first is background of study. The first background is, does religion deal with communication aspect? Of course, the religion with its rituals can be understood as the symbolic activities surround us. Because religious activities every religious activities was meaningful. And what is the theology and communication relation? Of course, I refer to dissertation which written by Lukman Sumarna, which is entitled Kajian Semiotik atas Nahwal Qulub karya Al-Qushairi, which is state that the development of Arabic grammar was influenced by Islamic theological aspect. Next, another relation about the theology and communication. In the language of Muslim people, which has Arabic, there's a basic vocabulary which is concerning the epistemology and consists of key terms which govern the interpretation of Islamic vision of reality and truth, and which project the worldview of Islam in correct perspective. What I will focus in my study, the religious activities as meaningful symbol is, of course, a widely sense in communication. So I will restrict on the communication as religious activities. So I will focus next time in religious message, which takes the language of course, is Arabic language as unique symbol. So I will perform the approach with theosemiotic approach, because the aspect of language, they deal with phonetic and lingual symbol. We can simply take a hypothesis that as long as religious communication take unique terms, define their vision about reality and truth, it can be called theological aspect of communication. What is the nature of communication here is message transaction. But in relation with theology, there are messengers in communication theory who act as medium of message. Of course, religion was content from transmitted revelation from God to human being, mediated by messenger or Rasul. Of course, we have message and theology relation. There was several seminal concepts projected by Quran as revelation, containing the signs or verses or ayat guided to several ontological hierarchy outside the reason and human sense. And the problem of study in modern era, religion equally assumed as cultural literacy as well as myth, magic, and other mythical tradition. In communication sense, Western journalism dealing with religion as ideology will classify their follower as extreme, moderate, and liberal. I state what is the state of art of my study is what is the theosemiotic and its relevance and significance of semiotic theological dimension in the concept of message, and why this can contribute to the paradigm shift from Western to Islamic communication. Based on two statements, I write a problem formulation as well as here. What about the construction and semiotic relation deals with the concept of message in Islamic communication? The second is how about theosemiotical pattern in the Islamic concept of message? And the last is how the relevance and semiotic signification dealing with theological aspect of message. To identify what is the gap of research here, I use theosemiotic approach, which it contain the four aspects. The first is philosophy of science, which is we see the shifting paradigm from Western semiotic to Islamic semiotic, as well as we use Islamization theory as research program. Secondly, if we want to develop the philosophy of Islamic communication, we would like to need normative basic of that philosophy, which is appear in Quranic seminal concept. It is a seven. I wrong in bed here. Kaulan ma'rufan, kaulan baligon, kaulan kariman, kaulan layinan, kaulan sadidan, kaulan adiman, wa kaulan sakilan. What is basic belief in our symbol, our semiotic is Al-Quran is solihun likulli zaman wa makan. This very basic belief of this research. In operational aspect, I would like first to perform an tafsir and ta'wil concerning that terms about Paul. So next is criticizing the theosemiotic approach. So next to integrate and do the Islamization, as well as the first step is the Westernization and second step is Islamization. The very problem of Western communication, it can be defined that the Western communication studies concerning Islamic symbolical aspect run into semantics obstacle as a part of obstacle of communication. If we refer to Scrum theory of communication, if we see in history, Wilbur Scrum is the father of Western communication. He defined that every communication run out into the noise. There's a noise to about the communication between communicator and communicant. What is purpose of my study? The first is to understand the concept of message, deal with Islamic theology. Secondly, to understand what is the semiotic pattern exists in seminal concept of Paul. The third is the idea of Islamic communication development with philosophy of science. What is theological development of theological dimension of Islamic concept of message? I argue that the very concept of message in Islamic communication can be developed from the seminal concept of qawl. Then if we believe in the existence of Islamic communication, we can draw out from the seminal concept of qawl to draw the very concept of message. The concept of qawl, the seminal concept of qawl can be defined as phonetic literal sign in Al-Quran, dealing with its semiotic relation of sign, code, and another signification. What is semiotic approach here? I perform a theosemiotic approach as a method in defense of auxiliary hypothesis. The concept of qawl consists of semiotic pattern as literal sign. It needs to develop our concept of message proved by auxiliary hypothesis, grown from theological normative basis as well as Islamization of knowledge agenda, which is referred to Al-Atas philosophy. This approach assumes it basically that literal symbol in Quran containing theological aspect. What is the concept of message as its preposition as the auxiliary hypothesis? Refer to Lakatosian philosophy of science, I would bedrock a basic of belief for the concept of message in defense of the Islamic concept of communication. It's wrote from my view and elaboration of the qawl in Islamic semiotic. Here I draw what is the step. The first step is after I perform my method of theosemiotic method, I would like to draw a concept of message based on the seminal concept of qawl as auxiliary hypothesis to make a small contribution, of course, in Islamic communication based on philosophy of science or research program research in Lakatosian perspective. Here are some of my literature review. The very important here is bahasa kinesis dalam Al-Quran, which is this dissertation state that Quranic verse contain very fresh idea on semiotical side, because it's not a human creation, because it's very good given phonetic literal symbol. Next is in Christian religion, the Thomas Andreas Fowler analyzed that that is a theosemiotical aspect can be bedrock as a approach with religion, because religion is all of aspect with religion is a symbol. The man which is be a member of some religion, they interact with its symbol in religious area. So the last is Michael Raposa as the first man who invent the theosemiotic theory, which is write a dissertation as well as he present it in a journal, Theosemiotic Religion Reading and the Gift of Meaning. It is a study about centerpiece, philosophy of language and it's best for his talk on semiotic. What is my methodology here? The approach, of course, I do perform the theosemiotic approach. My study is concerning interpretive paradigm, of course, is deal with library research. What is the data here is the seminal concept of qawl in Quran. My system in writing, I had 6 chapters, which is the first introduction, background of study, and another, which is the second is theosemiotic itself, an elaboration with historical philosophical studies, and the theory of semiotic in message concerning the very paradigm of Islamic communication. The third chapter here, the theology of message, which is drawn from the elaboration from the interpretation as verses and hadith as message, focusedly and to the seminal concept of qawl as the basic concept, the basis for the concept of message in Islam. So we deal with significance, connotation, and denotation about the concept of qawl. So in 4th chapter, I would like to criticize what is the message paradigm in Western communication. Because when we want to do an Islamization, we must step to, first is de-Westernization, second is Islamization, which is performed by infusing or reconceptualizing the concept of qawl. So the 5th chapter is I would look for the significance of theosemiotic in Islamic communication. What is the theosemiotic in Islamic communication? The very idea is will be deal with word simiaiyah, because in Quran they mention the very word of simiaiyah, as well as musawimin, as well as sanasimuhu, and the others. So we can draw on Islamic communication as moral and language against heuristical hermeneutic in understanding the symbol. The last, I will draw a conclusion and recommendation and closing. So maybe only this can I present here in this morning. I thanks for the teachers here. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much with your good presentation. To connecting to our discussion and our explanation, for the first time, we should like to time to Dr. Kholid. First time for question and discussion. Please time Dr. Kholid.
Alhamdulillah. Salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Wala haula wala quwwata illa billah. Profesor Doktor Amal, Jarman, and Doktor Ihsan, and the researcher. The first, I would like to say congratulations for your proposal. I think it is the new topic. Yeah. It is new topic in our field. But there are many questions I would like to know from you. The first, the meaning of theology here. What do you mean the theology here? It is the first. What do you mean? Our message.
Videonya. Kalau mau ngomong memastikan juga boleh.
But my very elaboration of about theology of message here. Of course, the word theology refer to Christian tradition, which is still with their elaboration among the biblical verse that because they got method that in Christian theology, the Bible have unknown its language, its origin language. There's
what do you say in Arabic or in Indonesian? Theology of message. And you say in introduction, message theology. Sometimes you say message theology. Sometimes you say theology of message.
And, the very mean, of course, in my writing first year, the very idea of message theology, I refer to theology of message, because in theological aspect, there's a message. In the message, there's a theological aspect.
Message theology here, the theology of message.
Yes.
What is the example of theology message?
Here I think
theology message or message theology?
Yes. The
theology message, theology of message, and message theology.
Of course,
theology message. What do you mean? Theology message.
Theology of message. Theology of message.
Huh?
Theology of message. I read here in my.
And then it is wrong. Theology of message.
In In introduction, yes.
Message theology. You say message theology. Message theology is known to have its root in Christian tradition.
Oh, may I have not update the print out yet?
Huh?
May it's the mistake of my writing.
Okay. And then you mean theology of message.
Theology of message.
What do you translate to Indonesian on Arabic?
In Indonesian, I say the teologi pesan, as well the teologi lingkungan, the another teologi
pembebasan.
Because in Christian aspect, the theology must deal with any activities which is social content and other. But it is not an as Islamic what we draw as of message. Because
message, you mean the message is Al-Quran and Sunnah.
But in widely sense, of course, the message of all of the Islamic teaching is message. But I will focusly here theology of message to bedrock any concept of message in Islamic communication.
Yeah, you say Al-Quran and Hadith as message.
Yes. This widely sense of communication.
Okay, the theology of message. What do you mean?
Theology of message here, I mean that in message, of course, the refer to what I limit in 7 terms of Paul. That the 7 terms of Paul has the theological aspect. Seven terms of Paul.
7 terms of Paul.
Yes.
Is the theology?
Yes, inside this theological aspect.
It is a message.
Yes, because I read here theology of message. So in the 7 call here,
call the 7 term of call.
yes.
It is ethic or it is theology.
Of course.
Oh, it is how to.
In practical sense, we can deal with
how to.
Yeah, how to. Because in
it is just how to, not theology.
When we refer to, of course, the Qaulan Ma'rufan, here, we see in Surah Al-Baqarah, there's a theoretical aspect which is still with theology. Of course, its source about Ma'ruf, Qaulun Ma'ruf, which is still with theology, is because its origin, Qaulan Ma'rufan, is origin from the Quran. So, in practically, Qaulan Ma'rufan must see the context.
Qaulan Ma'rufan, I think it is the difference between Qaulan Ma'rufan as it is a message of Al-Quran and Sunnah, or the common Qaulan Ma'rufan. I think Qaulan Ma'rufan,
practically,
it is known by Jahiliyah era.
Yes.
Oh, it is very, very specific when it is I think when Quran talk about it.
Of course, Qaulan Ma'rufan have a specific context. The deal with the Qaulan Ma'rufan about how to the Al-Maktub in Islam, who is how to Al-Khitbah and the other, of course, is concerning the Qaulan Ma'rufan. But it has also a theological aspect. The Qaul.
Okay, now I ask you, what is the theological aspect of Qaulan Ma'rufan?
Yeah.
Not just you say Qaulan Ma'rufan, it is the Qaulan Ma'rufan, it is the aspect of theology in Islam. Yes. Qaulan Ma'rufan just it is the aspect of theology. Really, Qaulan Ma'rufan has a theological aspect.
Yes.
What is the theological aspect of Qaulan Ma'rufan?
Here, in communication science, here I read here is the 3 aspects of communication: message, medium, and human as communicator and communicant.
Yes, I think
so. What is the very essence of Qaul is same as the classified as the rhetoric in Aristotle's tradition. The rhetoric are very concerning with theological aspect. This about myth, about gods, about Greek and other mythologies. So here I draw on, but not to make the this verse as Greek tools, but only I draw from this rhetoric is had aspect, theological aspect. Even it's very similar with theological aspect in Greek rhetoric. Here.
Okay, the Greek, how is the Greek rhetoric deal with this problem?
Yes.
And how the Islamic message deal with this? You can explain?
Yes. Here in the very idea on communication, communication science is lied on the theory of rhetoric in Aristotle's origin, because he did it has three aspects: message, medium, and human, as communicator and communicant. But in religion, the some aspect of communication lie here in qaul is a message, qaulan ma'rufan as message. So the second is medium. Medium, of course, the maybe and that's meeting, maybe a situation, maybe our tongue as to perform the what is the voice to the intonation.
It is the message.
Yes, it is the ontologically it's a message in Quran.
Message.
Yes.
Okay, and then the in communication science.
Yes,
message and
communicant, medium and
medium
and human as communicator and communicant.
What is the theological dimension?
Theological dimension is light here in what mean by ma'ruf here. By ma'ruf here is not only mean cultural and socio-cultural aspect, but it's also deal with religious commandment, religious teaching about whole al-ma'ruf, which not prohibit to make someone was dismissed and was not to disturb someone another. Also we refer to hadis faliyakul khairan aw liyasmut. This refer to iman. Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir faliyakul khairan aw liyasmut. So it's deal with al-iman of the theological aspect of message here.
And the different between this term.
Maybe the difference.
Kaulan layinan. What is the theological aspect?
Of course, in its context about kaulan layinan is when Musa alaihi salam go to Fir'aun and he would like to tell him about the theological dimension about God. We can draw here. Why does Allah command the Musa as the best man here, as the messenger, to say to Fir'aun as he is, maybe we say he is a kafir or aswaul insan hina ibn, but must to say about religious teaching with Quran layinan. So of course this containing an very aspect of wisdom, both theoretical and practical wisdom. So it is deal with Syariah.
Where do you put it in your what do you say outline?
Here I put in my outline in chapter 3.
You say only chapter 3.
Yes.
Chapter 3, message, theology, and Islam.
Yes.
The concept of all as a basic.
Yes.
As a basic for the concept of message in Islam.
Yes.
What is I mean, what is the theological aspect?
The theological aspect is light behind the very intersection between the social interaction of human and the ethical aspect with it deal with iman and with the, of course, the Syariah, of course.
And then your goal in your proposal?
My goal is to propose a model of the concept of message in Islam. We of course understand what is message in Islam, but it not already by to theorize it, to formulate it as a theory, the theory of message. We say in communication, there's no specific theory of Islamic message.
Kaulan layinan, this is the theory of message.
This will.
It is the theory of message.
It is the seminal concept of message in Quran, but it can be a normative base to draw the concept of message in communication.
Okay, how will you practice?
The first is the ma'ruf dimension.
Kaulan layinan, kaulan sadidan. It is the basic.
Yes, it is the
basic.
Yes, it is basic.
And then you will what do you say? You will practice this in the communication science.
But not practically applied, but it's to construct a new framework to define what is the most prohibited, what is the most commanded in communication aspect of human communication here.
Like what?
If we
how you use kaulan sadidan, kaulan layinan as the basic, and then it become basic
communication. Yes.
How you
practically, of course, we talk about the two aspects of language, which is the language, which is the parallel. The language is the kaidah. It is what is the formula, but is the practice is such as written here. The kaulan ma'rufan, kaulan balighon is the practical wisdom, which can be next step to theorize as the Islamic concept of message. The example when we talk about something, in example we talk to our teacher. Of course, we talk with call with the message that is easy to understand by our teacher. So we might to
I mean you will practice this in the what to say in the theosemantic.
Yes, theosemantic approach. Here, when we talk about theosemantic approach, we see that the kaulan ma'rufan is the message which is addressed for the man. If we can, of course, when we ask about something, in example in kaulan ma'rufan here, if we have very much busy, but the man come ask about something. So of course we want to reject his request. We must do kaulan ma'rufan as well to not disturb his psychological aspect here. This deal with the theory of psychology of communication.
Psychology of communication?
Yes, because it can be.
It is not your topic here.
Of course,
your topic is theology of message and communication science.
In communication science, there is seven big stream. The first is psychology of communication. The second is semiotic as a critical theory. There is sociological communication. There is mass communication and extra. Of course, deal with concept of call here, it can be best to draw a framework in several aspects of communication, several mainstream of communication, modern mainstream of communication here.
Communication and communication science.
Yes.
How do you differ?
I define here the communication science in
Communication science.
Yes,
You use communication science.
Yes, in fourth chapter, I would like to elaborate the paradigm in communication.
The message paradigm in communication, not communication science.
Of course, the communication is both practical aspect and theoretical aspect. Which I deal here is communication in theoretical aspect.
In chapter 3, it is also just message.
Yes.
A message. Message in theology in Islam.
Yes.
And here in chapter 4, communication, not communication science.
Yes.
What do you want? Communication or communication science?
Of course,
Because it is different between communication and communication science.
Yes. When we refer to my previous chapter in fourth chapter, in third chapter of communication here, I of course define first what is communication here as science, because the communication science is drawn from the practical aspect of human communication. So it formulated as the theories of communication, which is now the well-known of Western communication. So I want to criticize the normative basic of Western communication paradigm, which is not contained.
What is the paradigm in communication?
In paradigm
in the West and Islam.
Of course, the paradigm is deal with philosophy of science, but in Islamic tradition of communication, maybe have no several significant and specific theory.
What is the paradigm?
The paradigm, of course, is the things as an umbrella to which is similar things to be.
Yes, I mean, what is the paradigm? What is the Western paradigm in communication science?
Yes, Western paradigm in communication science is deal with aspect of dichotomy, deal with aspect of secularism, and the other aspect of Western civilization.
And alternative Islamic of semiotic in communication studies.
Yes.
The root of semiotic in Islam. The root of semiotic in Islam. So I didn't saw here. I did not see the alternative, the Islamic alternative. It is about the root of semiotic.
The root of semiotic Islam can refer to the word semia, in several texts can be traced back to that aspect in some verses here.
A theology of message. You have no. There is no. What to say? You do not talk about it. The theology of message.
Of course,
in this, the theory of theology of message.
the theology of message here, as well as we justify that the message in the theory of Islam has a theological aspect as well. This only a label to. It's not a theory, but it's we make a label,
and then the theory is a theosemitic.
Yes, the
Theosemitic is a proto theory.
The first in its invention, this is a concept, and to this concept is developed with Western theological and Christian theology to be approach that.
No, I mean, what theory you use? What theory you use? This is the theory of semiotic, or the theory of theology of message.
Yes, the theosemiotic is a part of the semiotic studies, semiotic discipline.
No, I mean, if I ask you the theory of what is the theory you use in this topic, what do you say?
If I say here,
your theory in theology of message on the or in theosemitic or theology of semantic, how it deal with the theosemitic approach?
Of course, my major about quotation here is the theory of communication science, which is the very theory in communication science is a theory of message.
Theory of message.
Yes.
Theory whom?
Of course,
who has this theory you use?
Of course, because there's no specific person who invents this theory of message in Islamic communication science. I would like to grab from Western communication theory. So I infuse the Islamic teaching on this theory to become Islamic theory of message, using that 7 seminal concept of Paul.
Theory who's this one?
Of course, there's no specific person who talk about theory of message, because this theory of message is things that we
and then there is no one speak or talk about theory message before you.
No. In Islam,
and you are is the
I hear that the Dr. Kholid asking about the Islamic theory of message. There's no specific person in Islamic theory of message, but there's several and many theory of message in Western tradition.
In Western tradition.
Yes, in Western tradition.
For example,
in
the theory of
the Wilboom and Strand theory of message, which is the communication, which is the message is a part of the communication aspect, as well as I define in.
And it will you use in your topic?
Yes, part of them in this
part of them or special person. There is no special person.
There's no special person, because I draw from the professor of semiotic theory about message. Here I read in chapter, I read some several scholars here, Charles Sander Peirce and Roland Barthes, Michael Rivater and Baudrillard.
Okay. It is theosemitic or semiotic?
Theosemitic is
no. I think no. I mean the person you have taught, Charles. It is in semiotic or theosemiotic.
Of course, that's a person, the main character, main person before I mentioned is semiotic. They are the professors in semiotic. But in the next, after this fifth professor, there are theory of theosemiotic which developed by 3 person with 2 person. Here I mentioned. Thomas Andreas and Michael Raposa. These are two person who analyzed that this professor of semiotic maybe abstract some aspect of theological aspect in semiotic. So he called it theosemiotic.
Is he Christian?
Yes, of course. Both of two are Christian scholar in religious comparative.
And how it will use to deal with the message in Islam.
Yes, the first we can deal if we refer to two person here, Thomas Andreas and Michael Raposa. They refer to a theologian who state that in Christian theology there's must be developed by an action. So there's a theology of mistake. It is the two person here state like that.
Okay, another question. You say that you use the lakatos.
Yes.
Lakatos. As what?
Lakatos here I used to draw how the invention of the theory of mistake in Islam, because the considering this
How to
develop the theory of mistakes in Islam.
I'm very confused because you have taught lakatos, another one cone.
Yeah.
This very complexity what topic.
But we refer to the first topic is theology of mistake in communication. So the lakatos and another is we can put it in the fourth chapter about the paradigm. Also in fourth chapter, and the chapter 4 chapter about the paradigm of communication here in
paradigm of communication.
Yes, paradigm in communication. Of course, in
and you will talk how the Western paradigm it will be switched to Islamic paradigm like this, or what?
In some aspect of them, because we see that
what is I don't see the application here in chapter 4.
In chapter 4, it may write on.
There is no the shifting paradigm, how to shift the paradigm, Western paradigm to Islamic paradigm.
That's only the
only what?
Only the point of discussion to point of discussion. Yes, to discuss how is the theory of mistake in Islamic communication.
In lakatos.
In lakatos, we
where in the chapter 4 too?
Also in the chapter 4, because in the
chapter 5, what?
And chapter 5 is deal with signification of theosemiotic in.
What do you mean with signification?
Signification here is the question about is there a root of the concept of mistake?
The root in the chapter 3.
Yes. In further elaboration, we must state again what is the signification of the concept. Because if we not take like this, the person may suppose that the theory of communication in Islam is a justification. Of course, it is the da'wah, it is the communication in Islam. But in philosophy of science, there's nothing. Because of there, I read the chapter 5.
And then your topic will deal with what level? What level?
Of course, I deal in the some base of theoretical aspect, which is Prof. Harjo say about preposition. Because before a theory, there's a preposition. So I deal with this aspect of theory of mistake.
Okay. The last, I suggest to to put the theology of message as the subject or M.Ud or berbahasa. Yeah. But because you have no talk about theology of message, yeah, and the dialogue of this this what al-hiwar hawla hadhihi hadha al-mustalah. I think it is very important. Yes. Yeah. Another, the last also in the review of literature. There is no topic. Yeah, there is no topic talk about theology of message, and it is correlated with theosemitic.
Yes.
Of course, you just talk theology, yeah, theology and theosemitic, but theology and its relation with theosemitic.
Yes.
I think you have put it in the literature review. Is there anyone talk about this before?
Maybe only talk, but about a tiny point of discussion, because no conceptually quite the approach about theology of message, theology of teologi lingkungan, theology of economy. That's just a metaphor to define that in economical aspect, in message aspect, that's a theological aspect in message. It's only a metaphor to explain, not a scientific theory to defend.
Okay, sir. I have.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kholid Muslih, as deep question and most question with the completing this proposal dissertation, and we continue to focus on the examiner to keep the time to Dr. Amal.
Assalamualaikum
in your methodology is theology of message communication science.
Yes.
Approach. It is comparative method or analyze methods.
Of course, in the first method, I would like to describe first, and secondly, I would like to compare what is the concept of message in Western communication. Second is what is the similar concept from Quranic verse, which is still next to the theory of message in Islamic communication. So the last is the analysis. Of course, I perform the analysis with theosemitic approach.
But you know, the message in Islam mean the khitab dini.
Yes, yes. I have put in some aspect here in introduction. I have put that the several aspect of message is khitab. Message khitab is, of course, similar equal with rhetoric concept of as the basic idea of communication is right.
That contain many, say, kaulan ma'rufan, kaulan syadidan, kaulan
Yes.
Yes, but all this point And then this point include the Tordini or the theology message.
Yes, there is an intersection between Alkitab Adini and the theological aspect of message. In Christian tradition, they say that biblical words, biblical verse contain the theological aspect of message. But we are in Islamic tradition. Of course, we use Alkitab Adini as the formula for understand what is the theological aspect of message. Besides that, if I quote here Alkitab Adini, it's too widely sense in Al-Quran, Hadith, and other. So I will focus at that 7 goal in Islam. It is a limitation of my reason.
But you want to comparative also between the West theology message and the Western and Islam.
Of course, it my will be compared because in defense of the step of Islamization, we must first is liberation from the Western aspect, or it called de-Westernization. Of course, by de-Westernization, we mean to compare what is in Islamic aspect of communication, and second, what is Western theory of communication. So we see what is the teaching with will we reject from Western communication to develop an Islamic communication.
I think it is in Islam there is
Yes, sir. It is not well known mustalah, not well known terms in Islam. Yes, because it's only a metaphor in Christian tradition. Because their theological aspect in Christian tradition can be developed, except they connect it with sociological aspect, as well as we understand Martin Luther Protestant, and its influence in Hasan Hanafi talk of teologi pembebasan and another. Of course, there's no root in Islam concerning theology of message, because without theological aspect, the Quran and Hadith as message, of course, by nature, it is a good given. It is a revelation. It is a good given phonetic and lingual science.
But you reject it.
Yeah, of course. I would like to criticize this term in my second chapter about theosemitic. Yeah.
Someone say about theology of vision,
Yes.
vision.
Yes.
But the example, the theology of Abdul Wahab. People like that.
Of course, there's only justification as well as they make a metaphor to usually the other to understand what I mean Abdul Wahab theology, like that. But it's refer to they will do a purification as well as we understand in ilmu kalam here.
I think it is not right. The term in Islam and term in Western is difficult.
Yes.
Because term in Western based on the what is the Christian religion.
Yes.
And Islam is by Islam.
Yes.
Don't use it to
Yes.
reject it.
Yes.
And when I ask what is the differentiation between the Islamic theological message and Western theological message?
Here I let me show some aspect of that in my PowerPoint. I define here comparing the concept of message. The first, the religious message, the Western or Islam here. Here is the message in Islamic semiology refer to Quranic terms. And in Western semiology, in Western semiotic, Western theology, the message is only an inspiration without its specific language, without its specific verses, and as well as in Islamic theology. Because in Western religion, as well as I will criticize later in theosemiotic and Western semiotic, the biblical word is only an inspiration and human creation. But in Quranic verse, there's not only an inspiration, but it's the revelation itself, with kalamullah itself. This is a difference in the concept of message and besar.
So don't use in the terminology in Islam, terminology in the Western into Islam. It means in Arabic dakhil.
Yes.
Dakhil. Like the hair shirt, bid'ah.
Yes.
I think don't use it. Because to make our religion is confused. Make our religion is confused. I don't find in your passage here about the hypothesis of your thesis.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe in our university is not use the hypothesis, but I ask, what is the hypothesis of your thesis?
The first, my hypothesis is the concept of symbol in Islam. The very concept of symbol is deal with revelation as Al-Kitab Ad-Dini. But in Christian semiotic, another of Islam, the revelation was subjective, and the symbol and the sign was adopted from another civilization. So we can the true revelation is Al-Quran and Hadith itself, not cultural development and also contextualism by systematic theology and another philosopher. It's my hypothesis.
So there is similarity, and also what is the last hypothesis?
The last is the theory of symbol in Christian tradition is adopted from Greek and another civilization before.
And Islam?
And Islam, the symbol is the very symbol of Islamic semiotic is give from the God, from Allah itself. Even it phonetic, even it literal. So it's Quran. It is not only a sound, but it only can be break down in specific formulation, as well as tajwid, as well as another semantic area of Arabic language, the specific symbol in which project Islamic vision of reality.
Yes. And the last goal, what is the principal goal of your thesis?
My principal goal is to draw the concept of message in Islamic communication. How is the concept of message in Islamic communication? Because there are many concepts of communication, many concepts of message is developed from Western communication, as well as sociology communication, as well as mass communication, as well as semiotic and another analysis. It's come from Western tradition. So I would like to make a small contribution, of course, about the theory of mistake, which will be a part of Islamic theory of communication. Yeah.
Yes. I read in your writing system, you don't find the theoretical framework.
Yes. Usually we write the theoretical framework in second chapter. I would like here to examine what the theory of message also in semiotic approach here. It is in the later I may organize in second chapter. But the which is in my introduction is the research methodology here deal with the theory of is
Halo, di mana saya?
semiotic and message.
So why you don't put here the theoretical framework?
Yes, because it is. I suppose that the theoretical framework only written in chapter 2, but I have not read in chapter 1.
Because in my university it should be there. There is the theoretical framework.
Yes.
Yes, okay. In the message theology in Islam, there is the concept of Paul as the basic for the concept of message in Islam. Qawlan. Why twice?
I have not updated here the
What is different?
Yes.
Qawlan.
Saliman.
Chapter 3.
Yes.
Chapter 3.
I have not written here properly because some file might be lost. But I will develop after this, and I will correct after this. There are 7 qaul in Quran which I find, which we can find that qaulan ma'rufan, qaulan balighon, qaulan kariman, layinan, sadidan, and aziman.
The kind of qaul.
Yes, sir.
Mas you
Yes.
You explain about the kind of qaul in Quran.
Yes.
And the meaning of qaul in Quran. And I think in English, when you write Arabic
Words. Yes.
should be italic. All should be italic. In Arabic, there is no italic in Arabic, but bold. It is because it is something new in English.
Yes.
And also, so Islamization of semiotic and communication studies, alternative. The role of semiotic in Islam, semiotic conception of the concept of call in Quran. Like that call should be italic.
Yes.
What is you want to the conceptualization, the concept of call in Islam?
As a part of Islamization, when we face a modern concept of message, we must trace back the very concept. Is there the seminal concept is similar with the message? I found that the concept of the seminal concept of here in the term of Paul, it might be similar with. Of course, it's part of Al-Kitab Adini. It will match with the rhetorical aspect of communication. Here, so I read here as the basis and normative basis of theory.
It's different with the Islamic concept.
In Islamic concept, maybe in nature, it's not different. Not different all not different, but there's a similarity and maybe in ontological aspect, maybe in epistemological aspect.
Yes, okay. Enough.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Doktor. Zarkasyi, it's deep and explanation. We should like to continue on such explainer. We give the time to Dr. Hadi. Please the time for Dr. Hadi.
Thank you, Dr. Jarman. Assalamualaikum dear Professor Zarkasyi, we have on the purpose of this examination, but this proposal here in this class, and I read that seems to me that there's a difference between what is presented by the researcher and what is written in this proposal. I think when listening to the presentation, so many problems are going to looking and reading into the writing. The writing is that more clear. This is clear. This is in writing and presentation. I think it's different. I think it's like father, like son. Yes, if you see your father, it's better to read. Better to read the work of Prof.
Always.
Than to listen to him.
Always it is.
Because I found in the very beginning the presentation, one seems, but then looking into the proposal, it seems to be reasonable.
Not organized.
Okay, fine. First, like to, and I found the chapter of their thesis, Theology of Message in Communication Science, a semantic approach.
Yes.
Then, what is the relevance of this topic to our department?
Yes, the relevant topic, which I will elaborate at chapter 5, is the very aspect of theology in communication. Because in its origin of the modern theory of communication, they depart from Western interpretation about rhetorical tradition in Greek era. In Greek era, the rhetoric is concerning about religion, because every rhetoric, of course, it's come from the priest, maybe a scientist, or maybe the another person.
Yes, 2 minutes. Looking into the chapter, this is, I think, it might be the works of some certain student at Harvard, at the Oxford, or at other universities,
Yes.
and there is no signification. There is no indicator that it is written by the student of UNIDA in the Department of Aqidah and Islamic Philosophy.
Yes.
And the chapter Theology of Message in Communication Science, a semiotic approach.
Yes.
This is very general topic, very general chapter. Anyone can write this one. Someone in Australia, UK, US, and one will understand and will comprehend this one. This is very general topic, very general one, and written by anyone probably. Then it is not a specific. Where is the thing which indicates the specific, the distinction that this is the work of student of UNIDA?
The very distinction, of course, I not mentioned in my title, but it will mention in chapter 5 concerning the Islamization theory.
Yeah, I found in your elaboration, in your identification of problem, I found that, but it is not clear from the chapter. The chapter does not clarify the content. The chapter. Then the chapter, this is very common. Theology of message. Is it theology of message? Theology of any a certain religion, or theology of any religion? This theology. Because theology, if we put the theology, it is I listened to the question of Dr. Kholid at the beginning. What's theology? You mean here? If it is, say for example, it is Aqidah, for example,
yes,
or Tawhid.
Yes.
If it is written Tawhid of message, or so oh, this is the work of someone learning at the Islamic institution.
Yes.
But looking into this chapter, this very general one. There is no distinction, no identification of the work that this is belonging to the works of student of Islamic university. Because someone and anyone can probably hear theology of Buddhism, theology of Christianity, theology of Hinduism, theology of Confucianism, and any other theology. This is general. And how will you put it that the reader will be interesting to read this one, because it is something in Islam. Where will you put the thing, make it distinct, that this is a thing referring to certain religion? How will you put?
Of course, maybe it's a suggestion to me to add any nomenclature of, in example, a theology of message in Islamic communication science, which will further develop in and its relation with chapter 4 and chapter 5 here. Or maybe Dr. Hadi have another suggestion for me.
Yes, of course. I found probably it is really problematic for you, for example, to mention theology of message in Islamic communication science. Islamic communication science is still a debatable issue here. Islamic communication is there, so but it needs as the identity, the specification, the characteristic of the work written by a student of the University of Islamic University, and moreover, the department is Department of Aqidah and Islamic Philosophy, to be clear in the very beginning, the chapter signify the content, and will someone looking into the chapter, and probably it needs a certain skill, certain competency to find out the way out of how to mention and to put it into a chapter of this thesis. So the point I got, okay, this number one chapter. Number two, okay, because I found you firstly at the presentation, so I start with presentation. Can you start with your presentation firstly?
The first year.
Yes, okay, then next. Background of, background of study. Yes, I see the logic of the presentation.
Yes.
The logic of presentation here, religion, deal with communication. Then there is relation between religion and communication.
Yes.
And two, next, theology of communication. Then communication has its theology.
Yes.
Has its theology, and communication founded on theology, and theology will determine the way how communication runs.
Yes.
This theology, the relations between theology and communication is based on theology. Yes, right. This logic is okay. Theology and communication, okay. Yeah, and here you got first from a certain scholar, and here from Prof. Okay, the focus of study. But I found here a problem of is it you put it by chronology, the first, the second, the third, and then concluding theosemiotic, or this is just you put it by incident. That is that writing, you put it in chronologically that way or not? That you will begin with religious activities as meaningful symbol, and you clarify into 4 or 5 or 10 paragraph, for example, and afterward you will also deal with communication as religious activities, and then afterward so and so. All this is just to mention only.
This just to mention about how what is the significance
of focus?
Yes, my focus on significance.
Focus.
Yes, my focus.
Yes, I hear and listen to your presentation. This is Georgia English. We don't have focus. focus ya. Fokus, fokus. Saya sampai bingung fokus itu apa. No, I mean, if this is based on your first presentation here, then you put it into chronological order. First, communication as religious activities. Then that communication has relation. Has religious religion, as you mentioned. Does religion deal with communication aspect? So that's the middle one must be put into the first. That you discussed that was communication as religious activities. That religion has relationship with communication, or communication as and religion. This is it has the value of communication. Then every religion communicate or will express its teaching, and this expression of religious teaching, this is communication. Yes. Then communication relation with religion. First, this is found also in your background, but and then afterward that this religious activities which is put into communication, it is meaningful, using symbol and symbol meaningful. Religious activities as meaningful symbol and sign. That is the second. And the third, religious message take language as language. How communicate religion? How to communicate with others or with language? Language, then language, so and so. And this is religious communication, which is based on theology. And this would like to deal with this issue in semiotic perspective. So that is the chronological order of not to put in this way. You start with the middle and the first, and then the second. Okay, right? And next presentation. Oh, this is religion and communication. Yeah. You still religion and theology. Communication and theology. This is religion and the elaboration. This is the elaboration explanation. Yes, right. Okay, you can put it that way. Message, transaction, and theology. You still discuss about the relations that the communication has its theology. Yes. Okay. Message and theology. Okay. Message and theology. Problem of study. What do you mean?
The problem here, I mean that in modern era, the religious communication in Western scientific tradition and its philosophy is only claimed at the level of cultural literacy, as well as it is a myth, it is a magic, another mythical.
Okay, fine. So it makes me dizzy and confusing. Problem of study is technical term. Problem of study is technical term. Here in our campus, we use problem formulation. Actually, it is problem of study. Problem of study in Arabic, tahdidul mas'alah. And if this is problem of study, this is very confusing. I think it is not this the problem of study. Okay.
I think it's kaliatul batas.
Sekaliatul batas.
Problem formulation.
Here we have you write it here, problem or formulation of the problem. Formulation of the problem.
Yeah, always problem.
Formulation of the problem. This is problem of study is here in our campus formulation of the problem. So if this problem of study, so what will you do?
In PowerPoint problem.
Okay. Next slide.
Yep.
This is really problematic for me. I don't understand. What do you mean by the first, the second, and the third? Can you tell me in bahasa Indonesia to make it clear? Apa sih yang dimaui dari pertama about the construction and semiotic relation deal with the concept of message in Islamic communication? What do you mean?
Dalam semiotika terdapat simbol itu memiliki konstruksi. Apakah itu konstruksi bahasa maupun konstruksi bahasa dari segi suara atau literalnya. Kalau dalam Islam tentu saja pesan-pesan Islam tersebut kalau kita rujuk secara global dalam Al-Quran dan Hadis itu berupa sesuatu yang literal dan juga secara tertulis dan juga secara suaranya, secara verbal maupun secara literal. But in another tradition, in modern scientific message, dalam tradisi agama-agama lain, sebenarnya tidak pernah ada bahasa-bahasa agama itu hanya kesepakatan kultural sosial saja. So here I will formulate to prove and to reinforce.
Dirumuskan sederhananya kan, problem itu kan tadi di masalah problem of research itu selalu bentuknya pertanyaan. Nah, kalau kamu ubah jadi bentuk pertanyaan bahasa Indonesia yang mudah. Nomor satu ini mudahnya bahasa Indonesia yang mudah saja. Maumu apa?
Apa konstruksi semiotik dan hubungannya dengan pesan dalam komunikasi Islam?
Apa
konstruksi semiotik dan hubungannya dengan pesan dalam Islam?
Apa konstruksi semiotik dan hubungannya
dengan
pesan? Itu konstruksi semiotiknya apa?
Konstruksi semiotiknya ya kalau dalam semiotika
kan
itu
sebenarnya kamu mau kan konstruksi semiotiknya pesan kan?
Iya.
Nah, kenapa kok pakai dan ada dan yang di tengah-tengah itu? Bingung. Apa konstruksi semiotik dan pesan? Kan jadi bingung orang itu. Apa konstruksi semiotik pesan? Itu kan lebih clear. Apa konstruksi semiotik pesan dalam komunikasi Islam gitu?
Yeah.
Apa konstruksi semiotik pesan dalam ilmu komunikasi Islam gitu?
Yeah.
Bahasa Inggrisnya apa? Apa konstruksi kira-kira kalau pertanyaannya seperti itu, apa konstruksi semiotik pesan dalam ilmu komunikasi? Jawabannya apa? Konstruksi semiotik dalam.
Karena ini kajian ontologis, maka konstruksi semiotiknya bisa dibagi menjadi dua. Jadi sesuatu yang jadi simbol dalam Islam itu, yang pertama dia simbol yang berasal dari Tuhan. Yang kedua simbol yang merupakan ciptaan manusia. Sedangkan di Barat semua simbol itu ya konvensional manusia saja. Kalau dalam tradisi naturalisme simbol itu dari alam, jadi tidak menyebut ada Tuhan di situ. Yang kedua ya hanya manusia saja. It is the ontological construction.
Jadi apa konstruksi semiotik pesan dalam ilmu komunikasi Islam gitu ya. Jadi konstruk pesan dalam komunikasi Islam itu ada dua. Satu pesan yang bersifat teologis transendental, yang bersifat yang invisible itu, dengan pesan yang bersifat visible,
human convention.
Jadi itu. Kembali ke tesis itu ya, reality itu ya. Yang pertama, what is message theology in theology?
Teologi pesan, maksudnya ya what is the
message theology? Message theology. Iya, Ustaz. Jadi bukan hanya sekedar konstruk pesan. Apa konstruk teologis karena gitu mesti. Ya.
Maybe.
Karena pertanyaan kamu kan what is message theology in semiotic? Apa konstruksi
teologis
pesan dalam
komunikasi. Konstruksi semiotik, apa unsur teologis dalam konstruksi semiotik pesan? Konstruksi semiotik dalam tapi sebenarnya ya paling enak ya apa konstruksi.
I think my English is not good, so I don't understand. Ternyata kata Doktor Hadi lah ya Bapak. My Indonesian language.
High language.
Profesor Hadi.
Oh ini lah.
Ya, dia berubah namanya menjadi Hadi. Teman-teman harus itu pertama. Nah, ini kalau jelas ini mudah antum mudah. Jadi apa konstruksi atau apa konstruk teologis pesan dalam semiotik atau dalam apa gitu misalnya. Kalau nanti itu kan what is message theology entails semiotic. Message theology entails semiotic. So, ini pertanyaan antum yang di papernya lebih jelas ketimbang di sini. Kalau di sini orang masih mungkin bisa paham gitu. Kalau di sini Allah jelas. Nah, jadi kira-kira itu yang antum pertanyakan ya. Jadi konstruk teologis. Nah, kalau sudah konstruk teologis, maka arahnya nanti ya ada aspek. Jadi pesan itu punya teologi. Ya, teologi pesan itu seperti apa? Nah, terus itu kira-kira akan kemungkinan research antum apa jawabannya?
Ya, sementara
ya, dua tadi itu.
Iya, jadi secara ontologis memang simbol-simbol yang muncul dalam pesan-pesan itu yang ada di sekitar kita itu sebenarnya sumbernya dua. Kalau nggak dari Tuhan ya dari manusia. Kalau di Barat kan memang sumbernya dari manusia atau dari alam, nggak tahu, pokoknya sudah ada determination at least.
Dan di situ nanti kelebihannya Islam, sehingga pesan itu tidak hanya bersifat manusia sentris ya, antroposentris, tidak hanya alam atau semesta saja, atau itu, tapi ada sesuatu yang beyond gitu, dari sesuatu yang tidak kalau itu. Terus yang kedua, how about
the theosemitical pattern. Jadi bagaimana pola-pola dan konstruksi serta relasi semiotik dari konsep pesan dalam Islam. Bagaimana pola-pola konstruksi serta hubungan semiotik, hubungan teosemiotik dalam komunikasi, dalam konsep pesan pada komunikasi Islam. Jadi setelah kita menjelaskan ada dua tadi itu, bagaimana kita membuktikan bahwa ada pesan yang memang dari Tuhan itu. Nah, ya, tentu kita membuktikan dengan berarti kalau pesan dari Tuhan itu ada, itu misalnya terjadi secara verbal atau secara non-verbal. Kalau non-verbal ya alam ini non-verbal, dia tidak mengatakan sesuatu apapun. Tapi kalau kitab suci itu adalah sebuah pesan yang verbal dan termasuk literal juga. Dan al-kalam as-saut ada al-lafdhu minallah wal makna kadzalika minallah. Jadi memang benar-benar ada dan bisa dibuktikan dari segi bahasa Arab yang baru itu, yang terislamkan itu setelah era Nabi, setelah turunnya Al-Quran, itu memiliki kaidah-kaidah yang berkaitan dengan komunikasi Islam. Misalnya dalam disertasi tentang kaidah nahwu itu ditemukan bahwa kata-kata seperti Allah dan lain sebagainya itu memiliki i'rab yang berbeda ketika dipadankan dengan bahasa Arab yang tidak ada hubungannya dengan Islam. Nah, di contoh-contohnya bahwa ada lafaz-lafaz yang memang itu khas Islam yang termasuk dalam komunikasi itu kita pakai.
Jadi kalau disederhanakan pattern itu, kita sebut pola itu, jadi pola pesan teologis di dalam Islam itu bentuknya ada yang berbentuk verbal, ada yang bentuk non verbal. Nah, verbal itu bentuknya dalam bentuk wahyu Tuhan yang memang itu verbal, yang non verbal itu bisa kayak semesta.
Semesta. Ayat al-kauniyah.
Iya.
Itu masuk serumit begitu cara mengungkapkannya. Hanya begitu aja gitu maksudnya menemukan itu. Apakah akan menyinggung juga dengan kalam nafsi?
Ya, menyinggungnya
itu kalau kalam nafsi kayak gitu itu betul-betul pembahasan akidah.
Kalam nafsi, kalam nafsi.
Ya, tentu sebelum kita memfokuskan
baru akidah itu pembahasan kalam itu.
Anifan, pembahasan apa?
Ini kan pembahasan
teologi. Karena istilah teologi kan masih kategori.
kalau begini kan nanti bisa mengungkap khazanah Islam kaitannya dengan pesan itu seperti apa sebenarnya, kaya gitu loh. Jadi ada istilah-istilah bukan hanya qaul gitu misalnya, bahwa bukan hanya qaul, ada kalam itu juga bisa, kalam atau khitab itu juga menjadi bagian dari pesan agama, pesan teologis, pesan teologis. Jadi kalau Tuhan firman ya, atau bahasa firman Tuhan itu dimanifestasikan dalam bentuknya yang seperti apa itu kan. Ya nggak usah berdebat kalam itu kodim hadis gitu. nanti sama beliau nanti. Tapi yang kira-kira di situ nanti bahwa kalam itu bahasa nanti maksud pesan dalam bahasa Arab itu tadi itu bisa banyak antum bisa perkaya, tidak hanya qaul tadi, mungkin ada risalah, ada pesan, ada qaul, ada kalam, khitab, ada itu kan jelas tuh kalau mau pakai kalam itu kan, jadi atau kalau kola sudah jelas banget. Kalau mau itu benar-benar itu pesan gitu loh, artinya Allah menyampaikan pesan kepada Musa, pesan itu verbal kayak itu. Tapi kalau kemudian dari pesan verbal kepada pesan yang non verbal, maksudnya kayak Ibrahim kayak begitu, dari pesan verbal tadi kemudian fenomena alam yang pesan itu untuk mencermati. Nah, saya pikir juga itu menarik. Nah, mungkin di dalam tradisi yang lain tidak ada seperti itu. Ya, gitu ya. Iya. Dan itu keunikan itu nanti. Tapi di situ itu selalu ada kekuatan teologis yang antum bahwa itu punya dimensi yang bersifat teologis yang, dan disitulah yang pada akhirnya kalam pesan-pesan itu sacred gitu dalam sana, tidak hanya pesan yang profan, tapi pesan-pesan itu bisa sacred, bisa ada kutsiahnya. Dimasukkan gitu. Jadi itu yang kedua gitu ya. Jadi yang pertama tadi itu bentuknya agak sama. Yang pertama bentuknya saja kan yang diungkap. Ya, sebenarnya secara ontologisnya gimana gitu. Nah, tapi dia kajian ontologis berdasarkan kajian ontologisnya ada tentang semiotika dan simbolnya itu demikian banyak, itu sebenarnya bisa dikategorikan sebagai apa aja. Kan kadang-kadang ada simbol-simbol Islam yang dia itu sebenarnya kesepakatan manusia, seperti kalau di atas masjid itu ada bulan bintang. Nah, itu kan nggak ada ayatnya atau nggak ada hadisnya. Tapi orang itu mengabstraksi konsep itu dari penalaran tentang ayat-ayat Al-Quran. Misalnya dalam apa namanya yas'alunaka 'anil ahillah gitu. Jadi kenapa itu? Iya. Jadi itu dinalarkan. Jadi ada simbol-simbol yang dalam Islam itu memang sepakatan juga. Yang pertama tadi basisnya, yang kedua ini sudah mulai pengembangannya. Polanya seperti apa? Kalau tadi kan hanya klasifikasi saja paling tidak ya. Tapi yang kedua itu sudah pattern. Sudah pattern. Nah, Islamic concept of message itu seperti apa dalam teosemiotik itu. Oke. Istilahnya menghitung kalam dan hitung. Hitung itu ada bukunya tuh.
Kalau khitab itu wacana, terjemahnya.
Wacana ya? Discourse.
Wacana, khitab.
Discourse itu wacana.
Kecuali dalam bukunya Anas Ramid yang Nakat Al-Kitab Hadi ini.
Kalau khitab ini maknanya wacana.
Dalam Quran bukan wacana. Khitab dalam Al-Quran bukan wacana.
Al-Kitab bermakna asari gitu.
Iya, maksudnya kitab Zarkasyi itu ya pada manusia itu perintahkan itu kitab ini. Iya, sama Kak dengan istilah dalam istilah itu mukhotob itu kan juga bisa bukan dalam wacana kan? Iya. Orang yang diberi pesan kan?
Allah mukhotob.
Iya, ya itu bisa menjadi kajian bahasa. Etimologinya tidak hanya qaul gitu, tidak hanya qaul tadi seperti kepada kalam ada qaul, bukan hanya qaul. Tadi kan qaul beragam. like this is the second, and now into the third. That the first you do that thing, and the second you elaborate into the pattern. Out of which this concept then crystallize into a certain pattern.
Yes.
And now the third. What do you mean by the third?
The third is
misalnya gimana?
Bahasa Indonesianya ini kalau apa sebenarnya relevansi dan signifikasi dari apa namanya teologi pesan itu, dari semiotika teologis itu signifikansinya apa dalam pergeseran paradigma menuju komunikasi Islam. Karena biasanya komunikasi Islam hanya diidentifikasi lewat praktek-praktek komunikasi seperti dakwah dan lain sebagainya. Kalaupun diteorikan, ya dia hanya jadi sekedar teori-teori dalam dakwah, ada dakwah bilhal dan lain sebagainya. Tapi dia tidak menjadi teori-teori yang empiris dan dia menjadi bagian dari teori komunikasi. Nah, di sini berhubungan dengan pergeseran paradigma. Kenapa orang kok suka dengan apa namanya dengan orang Muslim itu bukan hanya dakwahnya saja, tapi terkait apa yang dia ucapkan dan mungkin action as its symbol.
Okay, I think you need to clarify in condensed expression, which I think here, as I just read from your lesson that you appeal to Lakatos, for example, Propatas, Lakatos, so you will put it into the research program of Lakatos, then it will benefit us in this case. This is after finding the issues and then elaborating it, and then next step is to put it into the research program by which we will arrive and achieve at the goal of this research. I think this is the goal of the final goal here. If it is only simply investigating about the construct of theological construct of the message, for example, that's okay, so and so, and the elaboration of that pattern, how the pattern is so and so. Then if we stop at this juncture, then we not benefit anything. It is for dissertation. For dissertation, you have to put it. This is how to put it and to implement this thing and manifest this thing to the extent that you can produce at least preliminary process into the Islamic communication science, Islamic communication science. Then by making putting it into the research program of Lakatos, for example, of course, I found as if you mentioned it. That you put that.
Yes, it is my
but
identification.
It's not clear.
But
tampilkan semua, nggak ada videonya. Yes, I think so. You start with basic belief, and then philosophy of science. This is a program, and philosophy of Islamic communication and operational aspect. Basic belief that this is story di zaman memakan. I think you need further other foundation to build that it is not simply so that make this is a firm foundation, firm basic belief that it is including into the theology, because it's theo. Your topic is theo related to theology. Theology, that there is a thing I mentioned theology, and this is finally you bring it back to communication. You bring it forward. You bring it forward, not back. Bring forward to communication. How theology to communication. So you have the basic belief here. Basic belief here, you mean hardcore?
Of course,
hardcore. If it is so, hardcore, and then philosophy of science. shifting paradigm, like semiotic to semiotic Islamization as a research program. Oh, I think this is then you construct it and you make it condensed in the problem number 3.
Yes, yes.
Problem number 3 to identify that this is the final destination of this research. This is to research program, and to the extent that after analyzing this qaul ma'rufah, qaul baligho, or kalam nafsi, kalam lafzi, or khitab dini, khitab so and so and so and so and so, and then into, I think it is not operational aspect. Tafsir, ta'wil, critical theory, justification, integration, the westernization, I think it is not operational. What should you put it here?
Because to arrive at the conclusion in the existence of Islamic theory of message, I will first read through the several tafsir and ta'wil.
Yes, I think it is methodological dimension. Yes. The methodology here. The methodology is tafsir and ta'wil is methodology.
Yes.
Methodology, critical theory, justification, integration. This is methodology. And in the if you put it into this, just a step before theory and concept, a step before theory. If it is in Lakato's perspective, what hardcore, and then after hardcore,
and auxiliary hypothesis.
Auxiliary hypothesis, and then
series of theories.
A series of theories, and then
this the outer layer.
I think here in this case it is not a series of theory, but it is auxiliary.
Yes,
this methodology paradigm. This is a series of you put it here in this case because using tafsir as methodology, ta'wil.
Yes.
How to understand the message.
Yes.
That there is the aspect of theological aspect in this message, and that message is not then only human. It is not conventional message as understood by ordinary people, but this is a message, is a sacred. That is the basis of the sacredness of the message because it is derived from this is divine message. This is divine message. So this is using ta'wil, using tafsir methodology. Methodology, I think, auxiliary. Yes, I think that would, if so. And then next problem of Western communication, use this in the beginning, education in the beginning. How you put it in before the end? Well, actually, this in the beginning. It is not on the beginning. Okay. Purpose of studying. Yes, I think this is my observation of this and because going into your next other step is confusing. I got this one. I just got whenever you present, I thought where you put these things. I found theological dimension of Islamic concept of message. Those semiotic as approach and method in defense of auxiliary hypothesis. Actually, the key probably the core. I got the core, but only the expression. Confused with the expression. Yes, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much, Dr. Ihsan. Question, situation, and others. I still have question. Among often in the first explainer and the second also from Dr. Amal as the term of theology message. I think that this term comes from Christian.
Yes.
So when you should like to bring in this term to Islam, this problem.
It will I elaborate next further in, of course, in 4th chapter.
No, back to the chapter.
Yes.
I think that also Hadi back to the chapter. So I think the theology of message here, I think it's also a problem because this term comes from Christian term. My suggestion, when we listen and know after your exploration, this proposal, I think you might substitute without theology here.
Theory.
You might theory.
Yes.
You might theory of message in Islamic communication. You might. I
Yes.
think this better than this term, yeah? Because the term of theology come from Christian.
Yes.
Yeah, when we compare the theory used still in the last, I think it's problem.
Yes.
This is my suggestion. Yeah, the first. The second, I didn't listen in your explanation, also in your background here. The problem of theology message in Christian. Yeah. Even we different, yeah, even we different this term of not in our term. Yeah. What is the problem in theology message when we should like to giving the solution in Islamic communication? Is there a problem? The big problem in theology message, what is? So we should like begin from this problem. We should like to give the solution in Islamic theology, in Islamic communication. I think didn't find it. Is that problem?
Yes,
I think you might take
yes.
in the background also. What is the problem? The problem the theology message in Christian. You should be, you could hear from Cox.
Yes.
Yeah, I see in the quotation you quote from Cox, Cox. Yeah. What is the problem? I think to mention here is important. So after we know the problem from theology message from Christian, we should like to keep the solution, how the Islamic giving the solution of from theology message. I think this my suggestion to complete this discussion and this explanation. I think this enough. And we should like to suggest you, because this is the first, yeah, the first from researcher from semester 3, should like after this time for all friends must be going run quickly, and we hope after going out from this room, we hope the researcher must be run quickly until you can be finished as good as possible, as good as your method. How long time you will finish this dissertation?
My plan, of course, I would finish it in Brighton in maybe 1 year.
1 year.
Next year, maybe.
So we wait for you finishing not more than 5 semesters. Yeah, not more than 5 semesters. When you can go finish this dissertation in 4 semesters, it is better. So the last semester. Yeah. Okay, let's close our discussion, our explanation. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good luck, and we continue next time.
Thanks.
With Aris, Iqbal, Ihsan, next, and others. Next.
Amin. Usman, Iqbal,
Aris.
Insyaallah.
La itaro firisara. Pak nanti formulasikan dengan Pak Nur Hadi. Saya juga cocok ini aslinya nggak nampak. Dalam judul itu Pak nampak. Di S3 UNIDA-nya itu nampak. Nah, kalau UIN terserah itu nggak tahu. Ini diperjelas lah gitu. Sebetulnya kalau maksudnya tadi kan islamisasi ada di dalam. Nanti itu terlalu kecil lagunya, porsinya itu. Dan supaya nampak itu gimana? Nampak dalam judul, nampak dalam berbahasa. Ya walaupun sekarang yang dulu kan perlu dioperasi. Jadi yang intinya enggak confuse gitu. Ya sudah. Ya.
Jadi ini angkatan yang tinggal disertasi ya.
Ini angkatan ke 5 ya. Semester 3 ya.
Sudah mata kuliah sudah ada.
Sudah
Nggak
ada.
ada.
Sudah nggak ada.
Ada. Jadi ya waktunya nulis.
Nah, jadi ada bahasa tinggal disertasi atau disertasi ditinggal. Yang sering terjadi yang kedua. Betul-betul ditinggal.
Ini mau belajar lagi ya.